Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek, the National Lampoon edition.
Yahoo!
At least the vacation parks know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, was the last one the National Lampoon? It was, wasn't
No.
it? Yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't think it was.
Which is interesting. I wonder, does the National Lampoon
Own it?
property exist anymore? Do they still make movies?
Well, they
now?
did Euro Trip not too long ago.
I'm not sure
Jeremy
if
Renner.
National Lampoon exists at all right now. The magazine folded, and there's been a huge silence from them since.
So I wonder if maybe they just don't exist anymore, and that's why the last one's just called Vacation.
That's interesting. Or maybe they just didn't want to pay the rights to people they didn't have to.
Mhm. Anyone
Well-
out there who works for National Lampoon, give us a call. Let us know.
Don't forget that Vegas Vacation, that's the name of the movie, Vegas Vacation, not National Lampoon's.
Oh, okay.
Really?
So, yes.
And that was the
Oh.
last one that they did, the Griswalds proper. Yeah. But we'll get into all that in a few minutes. Today's show is brought to you by the station wagon. Please bring back the family car trip and buy one.
Only if you can get the, what was it? The
Wagon Queen Family Truckster.
yeah.
I remember the truckster that was like, well, I'll tell you what, you can have this other one, but this, if you're going to go across country, this is what we're going to go across country in.
If you think you hate it now, wait till you drive it.
Okay, so
Nice.
let's introduce the panel real quick. I'm Dub. I do stuff. I'm here with my buddy Skeeter, and I'm here with Christina, the cheeky chi herself, and I'm here with Mr. Blythe and the voice of the show himself, Mr. Todd. How are you guys doing today?
Super duper. Glad to be here.
Excellent.
Well, I'm coming from you live in Paris.
Oh, did you win a trip? Did you have to dress in a pig costume to get it?
I did.
That's outstanding. Going with the conversation we had before the cameras were rolling, that's actually really hilarious. Okay. Don't you love inside jokes on podcasts? Okay, so let's talk about what we're talking about. We're doing the vacation movies with the Griswalds, which is National Lampoon's Vacation, National Lampoon's European Vacation, National
Ooh la
Lampoon's
la.
Christmas Vacation, and then Vegas
Vegas
Vacation.
Vacation, yeah.
And we're also going to cover the new Vacation with Ed Helms, which honestly, spoiler alert, I loved more than any of the other movies. It's better than it should be.
This
in
is
my own
probably
opinion.
the one and only time Dub will admit that he likes a reboot more than the original.
Yeah. That's actually completely fair. 'cause
That's
I
hard to
usually
do.
don't. That says something about how good this movie was.
Mhm.
It was just enough nostalgia without it being a direct copy.
I would like to
No,
propose that we take out Christmas Vacation altogether because it's not a vacation movie. They're at their house.
it's a staycation.
It's not a staycation. It's just a holiday. He's got the day
No,
off. That's
well,
not vacation.
everybody vacations to him. That's in
Yes.
this one.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And
I'm not
because-
buying it.
Because most of this cast is in Vegas, do we have to take that one out too? Because that wouldn't be a vacation for us.
They took
See,
a vacation to Vegas.
You start
We're not
playing
part of
these
the-
rules. You start playing with these hard and fast or hard and loose with the rules. It's just not. We're keeping in Christmas Vacation because honestly, I love that movie. I think it's beautiful. So let's get your guys' first impressions. I know we all watched it when we were too young to be watching these movies. And I want to start on this because I usually don't start on these, but I want to start first. My first one was the actual National Lampoon's Vacation, but I did watch it on TV. So I saw the edited version. In fact, I can tell you
All
this.
15 minutes of it?
I have seen the edited version my entire life until this week when I saw the unedited version. Wow.
Big change, huh?
Yes. We'll get into more of that later. But honestly, I thought before I knew better, I thought this first movie was absolutely hilarious. I thought it's about a guy that really loved his family, and this is how young I was when I watched it. Yeah, And I didn't catch a lot of the very, 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 very subversive jokes that were going throughout this movie.
Well,
But
how
I'm
old
talking
were
first
you
impressions.
in 1983? How old were you, Deb?
I was like 7.
He was in his 30s.
I was 17,
Shut up.
and I saw it in the
You
theater.
got it.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you.
You got it.
Holy God. At
So-
first, it was the goofiest thing I ever seen, and then it ended up goofiest thing I ever seen. It was a smash. I mean, we came out of there giggling for days, and the jokes unending. Worth every second of being in that theater.
Nice.
One of the most quotable movies ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jokes for days.
I was 8 years old, and you know my family, so the unedited version was not something that I ever saw. So, or that I didn't see. So, you know, it's just everything about that movie, the jokes, the shtick, the whole thing was just phenomenal. So I mean, from Lindsey Buckingham's opening credits song, that anytime that comes on, you could be in a different part of the house, but you hear, I mean,
it's Caddyshack levels of great theme songs. You know, they were great with the 80s.
Kenny Loggins.
It's from a classic era of comedy. I mean, it would be impossible to make National Lampoon's Vacation in today's world.
Yeah.
Oh,
nobody would let you.
And we will get into that in a minute. But let's stick on our first impressions just for a minute. Christina, what about your first impressions?
Mine was similar as far as 1 and 2. I saw them on TV first. 1 I had seen unedited like 15 years ago. You're not that old, honey. I was 14. But European Vacation, this week is the first time I saw the unedited version, and I have a whole new outlook on Jazzercise. I'm just saying. Yeah. No wonder people love it so much.
Lies, what about you?
So this was my first time seeing all of them, except for Christmas Vacation, which the first time was this last Christmas. And I will tell you, when I was watching through the first movie, I was like, what is this? All I've heard is beloved things about this movie, and this man is a deviant. He is a bad, bad man.
Beyond, yeah.
He's not a good guy. And I have to say, the real hero of these movies is Randy Quaid.
Absolutely.
Oh, brilliant.
Absolutely.
Uncle Eddie or Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie.
Yeah, Cousin Eddie.
Would not have been the same without him. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
No, not at all. And it's really funny to see how Chevy Chase is not the best guy, and Randy Quaid is put into circumstances where he shouldn't be the best guy, and he loves his family more than anything in the world.
But we will hit that when we talk individually on them.
Yeah, he loves them a lot.
He does love them.
Ew. Let's pretend that one line doesn't exist.
Oh, it exists. No, it definitely exists in that universe.
So now these won't be as extreme for Blythe, but I think for everybody else this will be extreme. On our most recent rewatch, I think most of us tried to watch all the movies again when we knew the show was coming up. What's your kind of impression of these characters from when you watched it originally, when you were semi-innocent, to all these years later when, you know, the world has gotten us down and we see how horrible some of these people are?
I think for me, at 14, I was so enthralled with the incredible facial expressions that Chevy Chase pulls off.
Mm-hmm.
That I think a lot of it flew right over the top of my head, even at 14, and even being the TV version. And when I watched it like this week, I looked at my husband. I said, if you ever pulled even a fraction of this, you're a dead man. I'll do me last. Okay, Skeeter, what about you, bud?
I think, well, I mean, if my wife was on the show with me, I think she would say that I definitely try from time to time to pull off some of the Chevy Chase antics in the show. I still to this day quote half the things, especially barbecuing. But we'll talk about that later. You know, but I just think, like, in the scheme of things, like, think about, you know, if you ever went on a vacation or you ever went camping and, you know, you had one of those super hyper macho dads that was like, I want this trip. I'm making this trip. This is going to be our family. Like, and when
If it
things
kills
started
us
going
all.
bad, like they went bad fast.
Yeah.
Like if you ever took a trip to Shasta Lake with my family, like 10,000 things would go wrong, but every macho male thing would come out of my grandfather and my dad all at the same time. And you'd just be like, there's Chevy Chase right there. Everything about it. Clark Griswold, boom.
But I don't think that's the bad part about Chevy, honestly. What about you, Todd?
You know, these movies have been around so long, and they really become part of our culture. All the idiocy that happens. You see Beverly D'Angelo trying to be a good, supportive wife and mother, and her kids are just friggin' disasters. Her husband is a complete incompetent boob. He makes preservatives for food. He has a cookie that will last 6 years, for Christ's sake. God, how do you find yourself in a situation like that?
The milk.
So, yeah, you know, Chevy Chase is a comedic genius. His facial features, his ability to give a zinger of a line with a straight face and appear to not know he's giving a zinger line.
Yeah.
What can you say, man? That he comes through in all his movies. And geez, man, like Skeeter and I were talking about earlier, there's so many quotes from all these movies that have just lasted the years. That's why.
Yeah.
Just great writing.
Yeah.
Well,
and this is Bagheera.
Hello. Okay. Well, the thing that I find interesting about the Chevy Chase character, especially in the first movie, they toned him down a lot in all the movies after, for good reason. Now, you know, I am really anti this doesn't meet up to our standards now, so this is bad when they made it then. No, this character was always horrible. I was too young to understand how horrible this character was.
True.
And I think that is who Chevy Chase actually is. You know, all the stories we hear about Chevy Chase, I think that is actually Chevy
Probably
Chase.
true.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But he's one of those guys that when things start going wrong, instead of stopping and like regrouping, he just forges forward.
Yeah.
And they keep going wronger.
Yeah. But I will say this is something I didn't notice as much as a kid, but I really notice now how Beverly D'Angelo and Chevy Chase, how well they do work together. They are horribly flawed and they get better as it goes. But they have that married magic that they had to be together in all these movies.
That's why I have a strange like feeling other than the writing that's why they were the only same two couples other than Eddie and his wife in all of them.
The continuity, yeah.
Oh, that's something I actually love about these is the changing of the kids in every movie, and they make no apologies for it.
No, they call it out
whatsoever.
In Vegas Vacation, they're like, they grow up so fast, I hardly recognize you. They're like straight up, just call it out. It's great.
Yep.
Yeah,
but I think. Go ahead.
I was gonna say from the original to European, they did try to match the actor and actress more. And then after that one, they're just like, whatever, what the heck?
No one cares.
The daughter from Vegas Vacation was nothing like the original daughter.
Well, we're going to hit these all individually. We're going to talk which casts we like and which ones we didn't. And actually, let's jump right into that right now. So I want to do these in actual chronological order, unlike how we did it last week. So we're going to start with the National Lampoon's Vacation, and I got some notes on it. So we're just going to talk kind of the pros and cons of each one of these and anything that we might want to take note of as we go. So the first thing I want to talk about was when I was a kid, it was hilarious. When I was an adult, it's, you know, and I don't play the politically correct card, but it's like, he is so ugly that I couldn't, on the rewatch, I couldn't enjoy the movie as much as I thought I could. It's a little disappointing.
Do you think that's because, so you watch this as a kid and you watch the edited version on TV and you think this is a story about a man who loves his family and he wants them to go on a great vacation, and somewhere psychologically growing up, you build yourself to that persona. You want to be that family man that takes them on a great vacation and be that guy. But then you watch the real thing and you find out that this man that you have built some part of your own family aspect off of is not a good guy. And it's just like, oh.
At all.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of the movies, they really, flushed. He's a lech. We all know this. But it's more charming and cute in the rest of the movies. In this movie, it is so blatant. It's just like, ew.
Yeah, it's a real spike on his character, actually.
Do you think that that's part of the reason is because National Lampoon made a lot of movies like that, but then they figured when they made Vacation, they dipped into a different demographic, and
absolutely
for that demographic.
National Lampoon is generally speaking for males age 16 to 25.
What does it say about me? I've seen them all.
This is why you're on our show.
Lampoon, the company, is for that age and gender. But yeah, they didn't really realize how big of a family hit this was going to be.
Yeah,
because there are families like them out there.
Oh yeah. No.
So we have on this one, I don't remember what the girl's name is, but the guy is Anthony Michael Hall, correct?
Yes.
The boy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, they heck of a job grabbing
Dana
people
Barron.
that are going to be famous. Dana Barron. What were your guys' thoughts of this pairing of because they were the blueprint for the rest of them, which I don't think these guys were the weakest, but they're not the most memorable by any stretch.
Anthony Michael Hall, dude, come on.
Yeah. No, as an actor, yeah, but as that character,
even as a kid, he was a great actor. The sister, Dana Barron, I never could stand her. Still can't stand her. I thought she was a drag on the movie.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I agree with that. And Anthony Michael Hall, the only reason he wasn't in the second one is because he'd already been picked up by John Hughes and was doing
Weird Science, right?
Yep.
Yeah, which I'm glad he didn't, because then the rest of the series couldn't have happened.
Right.
However, cousin Vicky.
Yeah, icky. Now,
but do you? Yeah. She's on The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and she's brilliant.
She's great. She was one of the first people that I turned to Tara and was like, "Is that is her?"
Yeah. In the orange juice commercials and the Tropicana commercials, you're like, "Wait, is that?"
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it is.
How cool is this?
Now, this is also the first, and it's the first time we see Cousin Eddie. While the characters weren't quite as fleshed out as they became, it was a good start. Yep. We're gonna stay away from the worst parts of that because it's just a drain on the movie. If you watch the movie, you know which line I'm talking about. I'm gonna pretend that didn't exist, just because otherwise I can't enjoy the rest of this movie because it's that bad of a line. But what did you guys think of your first introduction to? I mean, he's not as obnoxious as he became later in the other movies, and he was a very one-dimensional character in this because they made someone to hate. But you can see the beginning to what he became, and I like it.
Yeah. He was a worm farmer from Podunk, and that's what he did. I mean,
and he's holding out for a management job.
Yep, he's holding out for upper management. Had a great family. Was he was breaking paradigms with his hamburger helper barbecue. Just
I think this is better than the tuna helper, don't you, Clark?
Yeah.
God Almighty.
But the dude, he was a family guy. That's for sure.
He was much more than Clark was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but he obviously wasn't very smart.
No.
But his heart was in the right place.
No, yes. Yeah. I think that's one of the underlying themes of all these movies is that Chevy Chase's character is the smarter businessman, makes a lot of money, but he's not a good person. but then or cousin Eddie, he's got no money. He lives in a trailer, but
dumb as a bag of hammers.
Movie, just dumb. And that first part of the movie aside, he loves his family and he will do anything for his family and take care of them.
He loves certain parts of his family.
Moving on.
Oh boy.
Well,
I knew someone had to take that.
Cousin Eddie is the ultimate redneck stereotype.
Yes.
He really is the multiple kids, when we're first introduced to him, the old farmhouse, every bit of that. God help me, I have relatives exactly like cousin Eddie. I do.
I'm not saying a word.
Happy Valley.
And at the base of it, there's a genuine good heart there.
Yeah,
and I think that's why that character through the years has become more and more endearing.
Yeah.
Versus like he's not the character you love to hate. Mm-hmm. He's the character that you hate to love.
Yeah.
Now, another thing with this movie, and it did actually make it onto the edited version. This is the first time as young me ever noticed blatant drug use or drug references on a TV show, on a movie. Yes, that there's a lot worse to come. I didn't like the issue with how young they were and they were passing it around. I thought that was a little icky, to be honest. If they would have been 2 years older, I wouldn't have had the same issue.
Well, I thought it was funny that Audrey actually didn't even smoke it. It says that in there.
Yeah.
And because he's like, "Are you even gonna smoke?" And she's like, "Shut up!" Like she just has it because it's the thrill of having
Hold
it.
my purse, yeah.
And I thought that was very endearing and funny because I remember being 13, 14, and some of my aunt she did it a lot, and just holding it for her was this little thrill of I'm doing something wrong.
Well, it's like guys that would have the condom in their wallet for like 3 years, just sitting there because I'm cool because I have it. That's kind of that same thing. Now, last thing we're going to talk about is what was it? Agnes?
Oh.
Aunt Edna.
Oh, Aunt Edna.
Wrong show.
Yeah. Way wrong show. Sorry, I've been watching too much WandaVision. With that being said,
and her dog.
And her dog. Now, honestly, I know it's terrible. I know I'm a bad person, but I laughed so hard at that last scene where Chevy Chase is trying not to laugh as they're talking about dragging that horrible dog who
all there
on the
is
sandwiches
a leash tied to the bumper.
Can I tell you that, and this is from growing up in this age of movies, I kept waiting for them to say, for that dog to like run in frame and be like, okay, and it never came. And I was like, they really just did a joke about him dragging a dog on the car. Like
he probably kept up for the first mile and a half.
Oh man.
And then you see Chevy's face just like dying not to laugh.
Oh my gosh. I was waiting for it to happen and it just never happened. Like they killed a dog.
And it's horrible. That's the last time I think they could ever get away with that on the big screen.
But by then, didn't they have the old lady in her rocker on top of the station?
No.
Not yet.
No,
that
she died the next day.
That might have been what killed her, though, losing her dog.
Yeah, that's the Brian Doyle Murray, the whole piece with him being at that campground. They walk in and open that first door, and ooh, that one's ripe. Edna, this one's yours. The whole everything about it, and then the death scene.
But oh god,
this is one of those characters. This sounds more spiteful than it is. I am glad they killed this character because I would not want to see, because she did not have anything redeeming about her. She gave Beverly D'Angelo that moment that she got to stand up and backbone up. And that's really the only good thing she did for that movie.
Oh, dude, the part
hilarious.
at the rest stop when Christy Brinkley's doing the dance and Beverly D'Angelo opens up the picnic basket and she's like, oh god, the dog wet on the picnic basket. And she's like,
And she smelled it. Why not?
That
Remember, she was living with cousin Eddie, so that's probably the least bad thing she's had on her sandwich.
While
But a
Rusty's
thoroughly
getting eaten by the
detestable
dog.
woman.
Yeah.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
thoroughly.
Okay.
And honestly, Imogen Coco pulled it off.
Oh, she's so good.
Yeah.
100%. She was great.
You belong behind bars.
But at the same time, you're glad that character went, because I would not want to, because they would definitely pull her back in the rest of them, and
I would have attached her to the leash.
Oh wow, that went dark. Okay, moving on to European vacation.
And
now this to me, I'm going to kind of step back because I know this is Christina's favorite. This is my bottom of the barrel on it. It felt like a bad rehash when they tried to tame the movie. Clark doesn't have all the same issues that he had in the first movie, the really bad ones. And I think the kids were the weakest. But it's Amy Heckerling directed this one, who did Clueless and like a million other things. So it definitely had a different perspective going in. So let's hear what your guys' pluses and negatives are on the European vacation. Let's start with Christina, because I know she's amped on this one.
I was 17 when I saw it, and I was in love with Europe, and so I just fell in love with this movie. There are so many one-line zingers. I'm a huge Monty Python fan.
That was the best part of it, yeah.
You know, to be able to see Eric Idle in there, and just he's so genius, and just these moments of, it really points out the perception that a lot of Europe had about America, especially in the 80s. Like, those perceptions were genuine, and they just cracked me up. Like the scene where he's trying to order in French and the waiter is just talking
like,
back to him,
brutalizing him.
Your daughter has a really nice tush, and your wife has really great tatas. I mean, and he's saying it all in French, and Chevy just thinks he's such this, man
of the world.
Yes, a man of the world. And I love that movie. It tickles me. There are moments that I repeat every day, or not every day of my life, but every time I do certain things, I have to repeat them, and I laugh until I cry.
Something I caught on this viewing of it that I didn't see before was the very subtle or unsubtle Monty Python reference when Eric Idle gets hit by the car. Oh, it's just a flesh wound. I can keep going.
From the Black Knight.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not catch that as a kid? And I love Monty Python. What about you, Blythe?
I think I'm in it with, I hate saying this, I'm in it with Dub on this one. I think it's not on the bottom of my list of the collection. I do see, kind of like what we talked about earlier, where they tried to pivot his character and make it more into a family film than they did in the first one. And I don't think they hadn't gotten it quite there yet.
And the next movie we'll talk about finally found that balance.
Exactly. They find that balance later, but this one kind of stumbles on that a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that's why it didn't catch or hold me as well as the other ones did.
Yeah. Todd?
I have two favorite parts of this movie. The first one, of course, was the brilliant John Astin as the game show host.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he grabs the daughter in that pig in a poke costume. Oh, gross, but brilliantly
Richard Dawson stuff. Yeah.
and the second was the German dance at Oktoberfest.
Oh,
yeah. With the kick, slap. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just about came unglued.
Yeah. It definitely did have moments.
But the point you just made about them trying to change Clark into a more relatable family guy instead of just a complete F up. You could really see it in this. And, it took the level of ridiculous down a notch. But, I mean, still, you got Beverly D'Angelo and Chevy Chase still, and it worked out. I thought who was it? Juliette Lewis that played the daughter?
Not on this
Dana
one.
Hill.
Dana Hill.
Dana Hill. That was her, yeah. you know,
I say they were the weakest of the kids.
Yeah. Well, and I feel
and the
like
kid that played the son was
Icky.
God,
Yeah.
Johnny
Well,
Galecki.
yeah, I
No,
think
that was
they.
No,
Christmas.
that's
Yeah.
Christmas.
It
I
was
think they
Jason
tried.
Lively.
I think they
Yes.
tried to transfer Clark's character onto Rusty in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because definitely, if you look at like the Germany scene, and
Yeah.
like he became more of that
The screw up.
lecherous,
Which
Yeah.
could work, honestly, if they would have had a better actor for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that would have probably saved this whole movie to me.
Yeah. Dana Hill was so annoying to me.
Mhm.
So for me, the
Yep.
focus really was like, you know, Beverly D'Angelo and Chevy Chase and that whole storyline, all of the great British actors and actresses that they threw in to make it work.
Yeah.
Like I love the scene where they're visiting the family in Germany. They're like they're being the Frogers, they're being so nice, and at the end, like,
Who are they?
Who are these
they?
people?
And she's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Skeeter?
This one, much like UW, was tough. You know, they tried to grab you right off the beginning with the game show, and you know, the stereotypical kind of, like you said, Richard Dawson aspect of the game show host. And then the whole sticky relationship between Dana Hill and Johnny from Karate Kid thing.
Zapka,
that, you know, but you know, it did have its comic relief, you know, pieces that were great. They did try to push a little bit harder, like, you know, Todd said, but I think like probably my most memorable scene was like the coupling of when they get the phone bill
Oh
in the
yeah,
hotel room,
because he's cheap. Yeah.
you know, and it's crazy outrageous because Audrey spends the whole time on the phone with her boyfriend, and then when he breaks up, when she gets broken up with and starts, you know, just starts eating everything in sight, and they're like, "What the heck is going
And that
on?"
was ugly. That was ugly.
Yeah.
And with the, I mean, she was being basically, you know, as loosely as I want to use the term, she was being mentally abused by this guy.
Yeah.
You know, I just manipulated, and she let it happen, and it was uncomfortable.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of my issue on that. Okay, now let's jump on. Let's start going on the brighter side of stuff. And now I'm happy with the rest of these movies. Now let's start with Christmas Vacation, which is honestly, when people now think about these movies, that's what they're thinking of. This is the Clark that you're thinking of when, you know, I mean, we've all watched the other ones, but this is the one they got it right. You know, they got that balance between complete just sack of garbage and a Family Guy at the same time.
Except for, of course, for the fact that they didn't go anywhere
at all. But that's okay. That's okay.
Why this one works is because it's not actually a vacation.
I think this one had the strongest kids in it. Juliette Lewis and Johnny Galecki from
Galecki,
from Big Bang Theory. They played off each other very well without it being too much. They understood their role as background people because they're not the stars of the show. Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo are, and all the entire supporting cast, no matter how good they were, everybody understood this is my spot, that's their spot, and they worked together as a team. You know, I love this movie personally. So this is pretty close to the top of my list on the vacation movies.
You have to appreciate a movie that spawns a revolution in America, because every Christmas, every HOA in America has a Griswold contest for the person that put up the most ridiculous light show.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, when you make a movie that's so well liked that it becomes a staple of a holiday, I mean, you did something right. So I don't think there has ever been a Christmas where I haven't heard somebody mention this movie or see a commercial for it on TV or some sort of advertisement somewhere. They did a really good job, like you said, Dub, with the balance of it all. and it was the first time where this movie series that was all about family became about the family. We know the first one was not on that, and then the second one tried to do it, and this is where they found their niche and they found out what they were doing to do it right.
Yeah, they kind of caught their groove on this one.
And this
But
is what they stick with for the rest of the time.
Oh,
and they kind of went back to that almost. I mean, in some respects, they kind of went back to that original Clark. Like in the first one, there were certain aspects of Clark, even though he was like pulling the family role, like I'm gonna dress my house,
But it wasn't
I'm gonna do
over
all
the top.
this. But they kind of went back to that whole piece, like the lingerie counter, you know, the different attitudes that he had, the pool scene. Like you're just like, whoa, okay,
Well,
what's going on
when
here?
things start snowballing on him, instead of stopping and reorganizing, he just forges right on ahead.
Yeah,
it's right back to the same Clark we saw in the first. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So I've only seen this one 3 times in my entire life.
This is a Christmas tradition for me.
I see, and the funny thing is, I'm very type A. Wendell, Dub, you know this about me. Them destroying the house kills me. Like I can't handle it. Like we just rewatched it and I was getting so angry. I was like, that's their house. Stop that crap. Like I'm probably OCD too, who knows. Yeah, but the flow is great. I just can't handle, I saw that, Todd. I just can't handle watching the house get destroyed. Like it hurts my heart because I am that person that everything has to be decorated, everything has to look great. I have a little 1-bedroom apartment, but by God, we fit like 17 people in for Christmas and everything has to look great. So when one little thing goes wrong, I actually do become a little bit like Clark. When one thing goes wrong, I'm like, oh, we just got to plow through this. We just got to make it better. So maybe it's personal.
and how many of you like literally like when it comes time for Christmas, the day after Thanksgiving, you know, when you start pulling down the Christmas lights and all that stuff, you sit there and go, I'm a Griswold this. Like I'm gonna Clark Griswold my house this year. Like it just
it's a conscious choice that you make.
It is.
I like how me and Todd are on the same page. We're like, nah, we wait till Christmas Eve and then we'll throw up a tree or something.
I'm after December 6th and I elf it. I don't Griswold it. I have a 7-8 foot buddy.
Wow.
You know what's crazy about this movie? And it caught me in the first one too. The next door neighbors who were supposed to be made out to be like the villains of the movie or the crappy neighbors next door. They're not. They're just trying to live their lives, and the Griswolds are just all over
very normal.
And
I don't know, Margot.
As a personality, they suck, but they're not doing anything wrong.
No, they're not doing anything wrong. They're just living their lives.
They're being tortured by the neighbor.
I got from the aunt in the first one is that I know she's supposed to be the crappy character in that movie, but I could not get my head over how crappy Clark was. That was like, this lady is just with a guy who is nonsense, man. Like it's not her fault.
Right.
Yeah.
And like thinking, you know, and part of like thinking about Clark's attitude when the in-laws show up, you know, and he puts the lights finally come on and he's like, oh, and he's so excited. And the father-in-law's like, the little lights aren't twinkling, Clark. Like,
yeah. And there's so much truth to that.
It's like, really?
We all have those people in our family that no matter what you do, you make this incredible display, and it's just, you know, you could do it better.
Yeah.
So this was, who did this one? Was it Hughes that did this one? That did Christmas?
Let's see how.
It feels like
John Hughes.
Yeah, John Hughes did it, and I think like there was like some really cool little Easter eggs in it. Like he was making a movie called Christmas '59. And the movie reel that Clark pulls out when he gets locked in the attic
says Christmas '59.
Says Xmas '59. So they kind of did some callbacks. I love the fact that like who the people were in the movie. Like they did great cameos throughout, but like Aunt Bethany.
Oh, she's so good.
Like that was the original voice of Olive Oil from the Popeye cartoons.
Yeah.
And she was Betty Boop. Like, I never knew that stuff.
Yeah.
But that like changes my perspective. Like, whoa, that's really cool. Like,
And she was hilarious in this movie.
Hilarious.
She's my favorite character. She's my favorite character.
Is
What'd
Rusty
you do with
still
the
in the
cat?
Navy?
And the Jello mold that she wraps up. Oh my gosh.
You know, it is good to see in this movie that they're actually tried to expand it a little bit. They had Clark Sr., John Randolph,
which was a great scene they had, by the way, when he passes off the torch. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah,
they had some pretty big stars making, you know,
cameos,
bit parts in here. Diane Ladd, Doris Roberts. My God, she's been in everything.
I love Doris Roberts so much.
But going back, like, I think like how Todd said, and I just totally lost my train, but I think there was a part where, you know, we see like this change in Clark, you know, as far as like his love for his family, like just really comes out, especially, you know, when he starts the Night Before Christmas story. You know, the movie just takes this huge turn, and it's just like, wow, okay, he's good. And then boom, here comes the lovable cousin Eddie with his boss.
Love Eddie in this so much.
That transition where they're walking down, where he's at work and Clark's got those zingers, those one-liners where he's holding his cup of coffee and he's like, Merry Christmas, beep, 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 you know, and the guys are walking by with Mr. Shirley, you know, once again, Brian Doyle Murray.
Yeah. So I think this was one of Cousin Eddie's top 2 appearances.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, made it so that, yes, he's got a heart of gold and he's dumb as a box of rocks, but you know, he's kind of devious too. He
definitely
manipulated them to buy toys for his family and everything else. Hey, Clark, and I want you to buy something for yourself, really nice. Make that one for me.
Thanks.
But you know, it is. I love that they pulled him out of the one-sided or one, you know, that one dimensional character, and definitely gave him some layers on this. Okay, now let's move up to Vegas Vacation. This was whoever wrote this. This was definitely written by someone that knows Vegas of that era.
Yes. Yes.
So let's hear your guys' thoughts on Vegas, the Vegas Vacation.
I was kind of wondering, does anybody know why it took them so long to make this one after the last one?
Because Chevy Chase is difficult to work with.
Good answer.
Actually, that's a fact, because he kept dragging his feet on a bunch of stuff.
I mean, it was an 8-year difference between Christmas and Vegas Vacation.
It needed it.
Yeah.
They just needed a break.
Well, honestly, the longer these go in between, the better they are. We saw Vacation to European Vacation was what, 2 years? Yeah. It wasn't enough time. You saw the European Vacation to Christmas. Wow, it got better, and then it did the same thing on the next one. So I think this is one of those movies that does. It needs, you know, it's like a fine champagne. It's got to breathe.
All right. Well, I'd like to start off with, I liked the kids the best in this movie.
Yes.
Thought they 100%. Were the
100%.
super job in both the casting and their acting.
Yeah.
And the parts were just written for them, obviously.
Yeah.
Stop having impure thoughts about your sister, Rusty.
Ooh.
Or your cousin.
Yeah. They brought that one back.
In a big way. Yeah.
They did a really good job of giving each family member their own kind of little storyline. There was a good balance in with each character.
Definitely improved in the writing on this episode. Now, what I liked is you don't so much see Clark being the complete lech in this one, but you get to see a little role reversal. And hey, how's it feel, Clark? Now your wife's doing this to you.
Yep.
Now that Beverly D'Angelo is a waniac.
Which that whole storyline is fantastic, but
that cowboy hat with the big W on it. Come on.
I think it needed to happen. That almost makes it even. I want to say, because like
no,
yeah,
it
but
doesn't. It does not.
She only put that outfit on to get his attention.
Oh, she got it.
No,
she got it.
I mean Clark's attention. I mean, because as quickly as she shut that down after she got the lock of hair, she only wanted her husband to be jealous, and he was so obsessed with his gambling that it didn't work. But that's why she did that.
Yeah.
And that's why you have a girl on here, because we can explain that to you.
Are you woman-splaining it? Nice.
We're she-male.
Wow.
And the cameos throughout the whole thing.
A lot of them, yeah.
Oh my goodness. You had
Siegfried and Roy, man.
Siegfried and Roy, Wallace Shawn, like, just the people that
Sid
Wayne
Caesar.
Newton.
Sid Caesar. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I mean, even Newton himself in this was great.
Yeah.
He's adorable. My mom had the biggest crush on him, and we used to drive by the Shenandoah like all the time because she just maybe he'll be outside.
He never is.
He never is. I don't get it. I will say he has a very incorrigible smile, and I think that's what a lot of women fall for. But so I really felt like my mom could have been,
Beverly D'Angelo
in that moment, because she just absolutely loved Wayne Newton. So
yeah, I love their take on Fremont Street. If you're a Vegas person, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, it's exaggerated, but it's not too far off.
It's not that exaggerated.
Yeah, that buffet, that sounds about right for Binions.
Griswold, welcome back. How about you just give me half your money? I'll kick you in the nuts and we can call it a day.
He's so good.
He was so great.
Good.
Yeah.
Can I get for $5 a bullet and you can rent a gun?
Wow.
Okay, see,
I forgot about that.
That is actually pretty close to Vegas.
Especially older Vegas, Okay,
yeah, but
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that reason when he sneezes, that's why I don't go to buffets. No.
Oh, when he puts his head underneath the sneeze guard to sneeze? Yeah.
Yeah. Clark's like, I'm just gonna put that back.
Yeah, that's foul. Okay, now moving on, let's get to the final of our quintilogy. Whatever it is. Quintet. Sure. Saga. That is the and I hope this is the new vacation movie. I hope they never make another one after this. I think that it came full circle. I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed any of the other movies. I think that Ed Helms was who they wanted Chevy Chase to be. He's actually a family man. He's a buffoon, but he loves his family first and foremost. Christina Applegate was brilliant in this movie. I love when Ed Helms is doing his explanation. Well, it's not like the first vacation. This one's different because we have, instead of a boy and a girl, we have two boys. And the kid goes, I don't even know what vacation movie you're talking about. He goes, okay, it's okay. This one's going to stand on its own.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really brilliant how they did that. Oh my gosh, the soundtrack and the full stuff.
I'm very refreshed to see that, Chevy and Beverly D'Angelo actually showed up in it.
Yeah. And so did the station wagon.
Yeah. This seal. Singing, who is this lady? This is a man. This is Seal. One of the greatest singers of our time.
And seeing the truck driver, which was what is his real name? Dixon. What is his real name? From Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon.
Norman Reedus.
Norman Reedus. He plays this. He has, I think, one of the best non-lines I've ever heard in my life. When he goes, so are you, and I don't got to edit this. Are you a bad person? Or let's see. Oh, we went everywhere and we thought you were a bad person. You're not, are you? And then he just smiles and laughs and just keeps talking. Like, yeah, he is that bad person that's been chasing you all over the country. It's all good. Chris Helmsworth was brilliant in this movie.
Oh, good night. I can't.
Do you really think this was the best one of all, Deb?
I really did.
Interesting.
And this is probably the only time you'll ever hear me say that about the quote unquote remake. Yeah, I think it was that strong.
You just have to watch it with a different don't watch it like you're expecting
Chevy
or the original or even Christmas. You have to watch it with,
new eyes.
New eyes, completely
Well,
new
I mean,
eyes.
it's a whole new generation of Griswolds, so Clark is like a footnote.
Yeah.
And I hope they don't make any more after this. I hope we're done.
Just to jump back to Chris Hemsworth for a second, he
Got a little man crush there, Blaze.
Who doesn't? Don't judge.
Yeah. Get off of me, Todd. He just does really well as a supporting actor. Just as bad as the remake of Ghostbusters was, I enjoyed his character in it. I think that Chris Hemsworth he has that comedic timing that works really well in these small roles that like
he's got good chops when it comes to comedy. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. It's
Fully.
great.
Fully. That guy. Oh.
And he's so pretty.
He's
easy.
A pretty man right there. Tell you what. I want to be a weatherman like him someday,
I love the fact that it kind of it took away from the, that Christy Brinkley love interest and turned to, his oldest son having the relationship with the car, with the girl in the car instead of Clark or instead of Rusty, if you will.
And something that they never paid off on this, which I was just watching it today, and I'm like, I never noticed that before. The oldest son is on Facebook when he kissed the girl, and he went in and he changed his status from single to in a relationship.
Yeah,
it never paid off on that. She should have flipped out on him or something like that.
Yeah,
that was. I don't know why they did that, but then again, I can see this guy. He kissed a girl for the first time. Yes, in a serious relationship type.
Because he's a good modern touch.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I have heard the soundtrack, and I love the music in it.
Great soundtrack.
And this one is on all the streaming services. I think it's on Amazon Prime and I think Netflix. I think.
Well, every movie
it's on HBO Max
in this series has
HBO Max,
iconic.
But it's streaming that we all have, so you don't have to pay for it.
But every one of the movies has at least one iconic song in it. I mean,
oh yeah,
100%.
Yep.
Outstanding. Okay, you know what? We ran way over time, so we are going to skip our listener feedback. Check out our Facebook page. We have a ton of it. We're going to jump onto a main event.
Now it's time for the main event.
Okay, so for today's Christmas vacation, our main event, we are going to be doing our top 3 favorite scenes from the entire franchise. And I'll start with mine. Number 3, the new vacation movie when the family goes for a nice refreshing dip in a beautiful pond and it's sewage. It's
refreshing.
In the mouth and spitting it out and rubbing it all over her face.
Keep visualizing it, Christina. Visualizing.
Trust me. However much I'm explaining it, it's worse when you watch it. It's fantastic. I highly. Oh, I love this movie. Okay, let's start with Christina. You're number 3.
The car scene in Vegas Vacation, where Christy Brinkley is the mom. And he's still thinking like he's looking at his wife, and you see that old kind of smarmy Clark in that moment. And then he's like, "Baby, yours?" Like, first of all, who else would it be? But and then she's
just like,
as she leaves him in the dust, and her license plate says "Mama." I love that moment.
Nice touch. That and I got to throw this in just because in Vacation they kind of went to do that trope again with the same Ferrari and a hot girl driving by, and then she gets in an accident and explodes. So I'm like, okay, well, we're never going to hear about the Christy Brinkley thing again after this. It worked. I know Blythe is looking like, what? No, but it works. Trust me. Blythe, what is your number 3, sir?
My number 3 is the desert scene in the original Vacation, when they do the jump off into the desert, and then the car gets totaled, and he's like, I'm gonna go find help, and the mom's like, why don't you just wait around? Maybe someone will come get us. And then they do a whole montage of him going through the desert, and he finally gets to the gas station, and they're just there.
Because they would be. Yeah, I feel like they took that one scene from Breaking Bad from that when he was walking in the desert. It feels very similar.
Does feel like that.
And I think that might have been an homage now that I'm thinking about it. Todd, what is your number 3, sir?
Every single solitary scene that has Christy Brinkley in it.
Fair enough.
I can't argue with that. Definitely, I had a woman crush on Christy Brinkley.
I mean, besides the fact she's just stunningly beautiful, and she is, she really added a twist to the story that really highlighted what a turd Clark is.
Well, and I think she just had so much fun with it. You could tell that she was having a blast playing that role.
Yeah.
So that's my 3.
My number 3, Chris, the whole scene with Chris Hemsworth and the new Vacation at his house, being this weather guy, like everything he does to like draw Rusty's wife, Christina Applegate's character, draw her eye to certain aspects of him, and just,
which is like, wow.
Yeah. And his relationship.
I'm secure enough to say it. Wow.
Yeah. With Audrey, and oh my goodness, like just this typical Texan, like, no, my wife ain't gonna work.
Stereotypical.
It was awesome. Number 3, that was great.
Nice. Okay, number 2, I talked about this before, just the whole Beverly D'Angelo being pursued by Wayne Newton. That whole, as I say, it changed the dynamic of the movie for me. So made me anyway. So it's not quite so ugly for Clark. It is ugly, but it's not quite, in my own opinion. Yeah. Okay. But we talked about this already.
Why does he give her such a big bowl of pasta? No one needs that much pasta.
It was giant, right?
He always makes too much.
Yeah. Because he is just too much.
Gold microphone too much.
Oh yeah. Miss Cheeky Chi?
Any scene in European Vacation with Eric Idle. He is so brilliant in everything he does. And I loved the fact that they carried him throughout the entire movie all the way to the end, where he grabs him out of the fountain, and it's once again Eric Idle. And again, you already brought it up, Dub, but the homage to Monty Python. It's just a flesh wound. Gosh, he's just so brilliant.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Blythe?
My number 2 is the car dealership scene in the original
the
Vacation.
Eyebrows.
Yes.
Oh, Eugene Levy.
Eugene Levy.
That was
so brilliant.
So that was the first time I've ever seen Vacation. I was like, that's Eugene Levy. And that was the very first time out of all these movies where you just keep seeing these actors that have gone on to do more and more things with their careers. And it's fun. And it's just when they crush the car, like the whole time you're watching them crush his old car, and then they bring it out to him, and he still tries to open the door. It's like
it was sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it makes you hate that. That's like the ultimate stereotype of a used car salesman.
Oh yeah.
If you think you hate it now,
wait till you
drive it.
Todd, your number 2, sir?
When in European Vacation, when they were on top of the Eiffel Tower, and Rusty was making googly eyes at the 2 French girls, and one of them looks over and reads his name off the front of his braid, Rusty. He's just like,
oh,
yeah. So,
swing and a miss.
The awkwardness level was amazing.
He turns it into a frisbee. I've been going back and forth. I stuck with the opening scene from Vacation, the opening credits, Lindsey Buckingham's Holiday Road. If you've ever looked at the lyrics of that song, it's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 actual lines.
Yep.
And
Repeated.
all Holiday Road.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, there's no content to it whatsoever.
There's brilliance to that, though.
But it's brilliant. Like
it takes a real musician to pull that off.
It's on our road trip playlist.
Yep, you literally, as soon as you hear the opening, the lead into that song, you know exactly what movie you're gonna see. You know what it is, and you just kind of get that smile on your face, like I'm gonna laugh. So.
I think that's the other reason I didn't like Christmas Vacation as much, because it wasn't in there. And Sean's like, well, how could they? And I said, they could have done it with the family members driving in.
Christmas
I missed
Row.
that. That would have been hilarious.
Christmas Row.
That was a missed opportunity.
Or Christmas Lights. Christmas Lights. Yeah, I could have done that. I'm getting sued now. Okay, so... So number one, everybody knows I am a huge sappy human being. So if something tugs my heartstrings a little bit, that's what I'm going to pick for my number one. My number one, honestly, is the scene that the lights on Christmas Vacation, when the lights finally come on, and he's so proud, and most of the family is so proud of him, and it's just when they give that view of it from space. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny and sentimental, and it didn't take itself too seriously, but it was enough to like, oh, I get it.
That's great to see Clark actually do something right.
Yeah, for a change. Yeah. Well, actually, his wife did something right when she turned the light on, because he couldn't do it.
Right.
Miss Cheeky Chee?
Mine is European Vacation, when they're trapped in the roundabout and they can't get out, and it's all day, and it's, look kids, Big Ben, Parliament. I will rewind and rewatch that part again and again and again. I don't know why. It makes me laugh until I cry, and every time we go through a roundabout, I just start laughing, and Sean's like, don't. And I'm like, look kids, Big Ben, Parliament. It's hilarious.
But he's laughing and crying at the same time.
Yeah, because he literally goes insane at that moment.
He was so genius in that moment that it tickled me beyond belief. Like it's quintessential Chevy Chase in that moment, and it's so good.
Nice. Blythe?
Yes.
My number one is the ending of Vegas Vacation, and there's two parts. One where the old guy, they're trying to win Keno, and they're like, you can be part of our family, and he gives him the ticket. And then the very end, when Rusty wins all those cars, and you realize, well, this complete scene before this was just nullified, because you could have just sold all those cars and had your money back.
Could have sold one of those cars.
One of them. Right? That H1, yeah.
But you have to wonder, all the money that he won, did he cash out at any time? And like,
no, he said he spent it because an Entourage is expensive.
Entourage is too expensive.
Because that's the kind of tool bag that Clark is.
Yeah,
but to drive home in that H1, he'd need most of that for gas.
Yeah.
All the way to
Caesar
Chicago
was spectacular in that.
Oh, and I love the part where the cars, as they're leaving, they just do that really cool interchange on the freeway. I thought that was really cool.
The lane change and the sign, that ridiculous sign for all of our Vegas listeners and everyone here that's from Vegas, the sign that just says Chicago, 1,880 miles.
Oh yeah, it's right outside of the north side of town. Yeah. I know where that sign.
Silliness. Todd?
It's a really easy one. Randy Quaid, where's the damn bait?
Let's get it out now.
Tour guide. You can ask all the damn questions you want. Where's the damn bait? Still cracks me up every time.
Yes, this is when we get to be perpetually 8 years old, because it's from the dam, so we can say "damn, kids," because we're talking about like a beaver dam or the Hoover Dam. It's okay. We can talk about it, kids, because we're perpetually children forever. But no, that wasn't funny.
Of course we are. That's why we do this.
Exactly. Otherwise, this would be a very boring show. Skeeter.
So my number one is the barbecue at Cousin Eddie's house from the original Vacation. The meatless hamburger helper.
It's better than the
tuna helper. The real tomato ketchup Eddie, like nothing but the best. Just that whole everything that was going on. Vicky stirring the Kool-Aid with her bare hand. Can I give you a hand, Vicky?
Yeah.
No, I got it. Like, it's just amazing.
Just killed
Like,
Christina.
everything about that whole scene is just home. I don't know. Like, just
oh no.
you know, our Reading listeners are gonna be like, nice, Skeeter, but it is like it's just home, you know. Don't matter.
This is why I don't go to family potlucks.
Because you want to know where your cat is at the end of the night. And that was a show, kids. Oh,
nice.
Check out our
nice segue there, dude.
Yep. Let's check out our Facebook page. Talk to us there. Talk to us on our Discord. Go to the Patreon. We got new stuff coming up every single week now that is only behind the paywall. Ooh. Go to the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use the code. We paid extra for it. And make sure you subscribe, like, and share us with a friend. Sharing it really is how we get 95% of our new listeners.
Shows you care.
And we appreciate everybody that tells their friends about us because they like us.
You too can spread the joy.
It'll be happy like a Griswold family Christmas. And that's a show, guys. We'll see you guys next week. And keep on geeking on, guys.
Woo. It's time to go.
Nice.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the I Heart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.